What's going on, guys? My name's Anthony with Hooniskins, and welcome to the Hooniskins custom graphic kit installation video. First, I want to thank you for ordering a custom kit for me, and I also want to show you everything you can expect to have inside the kit when you receive it. First up, we have our installation squeegee. So when you go ahead and open up the bag, you're going to find this wet apply, high quality urethane squeegee. This is very similar to what you use for paint protection film, so it is designed for wet application. Second, you're going to have your pre-mixed slip solution, and this is formulated already pre-mixed, so you don't have to worry about your ratios or anything like that. This is ready to go for your graphics kit. And then you also have a high quality microfiber towel, very soft, and this is going to be used for the last part of the installation. Once you get the kit on the cart, this is to dry all the edges. And last but not least, you're going to have your actual graphics kit itself. This is a high quality 10 mil graphics kit with a semi-permanent adhesive and really built to last. Here we have our standard crazy cart, and today we're going to be doing an installation video on the standard crazy cart. We're also going to have an installation video up for the XL crazy cart, but for now this is going to be the video for the installation for the standard crazy cart. So let's go ahead and let's get to the installation part of the video. So first thing you want to do is you want to take some isopropyl alcohol, and we just want to prep the surface real quick. Just get rid of any kind of debris or any kind of oils. Just want to make sure that the surface is clean. Okay, so the next step is we're going to move on to the graphics installation part of it. So a good habit is to spray down some of the area on top just so you don't get any dirt or anything. Now we're going to start picking up these edges, and we're just going to spray some of the solution up underneath it. Now once we have it, we're going to go and transfer it over here. Just make sure you spray a little bit of water on there. And we're going to lay this kit right where it belongs. So what you want to do is you just want to line up this top edge first, and everything else should pretty much fall into place. So you're going to take your installation squeegee and you want to lock it in right in the center. Once the center is locked in, you'll notice that it's not going to move. So now we're just going to work out these bubbles over here. And then do the same thing over here. So normally I do like to start with this section because it does take the longest to dry and actually adhere completely. So we're going to start with this, and we're going to kind of let this hang and dry a little bit, and we'll end up coming back to it towards the end of the video. So we can just start to move on with these other pieces. It doesn't really matter, you know, where you start or where you stop, other than that middle section I like to get on first. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of keep working our way up from the back to the front. So you're going to go ahead and just spray it as you peel it. Give it a little spray over here. And then you're just going to drop this into place. Now you're going to notice there are gaps in between these. So you're just going to do your best to line up where you'd like it to place it. And then once you have it where you want it to go, you're just going to take the squeegee and lock it into place. You're going to notice that these pieces are a lot easier because the surface is very flat. So you're going to move a little bit faster on these lower deck pieces. Same process. Bring this over, a little spray. Now this is going to slide right under the battery tray, whether or not you do have an aftermarket battery or not. The kit is designed so you don't have to take anything apart. So we're going to do our best here to slide this into place and get it straight, so that way the next one that meets up, it looks proper. Do the same thing, just get some of the water out and lock it into place. Move on to the next piece. Grab another one. Spray, spray. Go right into there like that. And the good part of doing the wet installation is you do have a lot of control of where it goes. So now we're going to lock that into place. Squeeze it under there. move on to the next one. Same thing. Get it right there, lock it in. And also, if you do press down a little bit with your fingers, you'll notice that it actually will lock in. But if you do make a mistake and say that this is crooked, not a big deal. You could peel this up, it's still wet, and you can adjust where you need to put it and then lock it back down again. All right, we're gonna move on to another piece. So as you get into the rhythm of it, you'll probably just get a little bit more comfortable as you get more pieces on. First piece is kind of the hardest to get on here. So we'll do the same thing. My cart's a little dented right there, but that's okay, the graphic will still sit down there. And then finally we'll move on to this piece. Now this piece is a little bit similar to that first piece that we did because it does have that curve up front around the gas pedal. You're gonna notice that it doesn't quite want to stay down right away, but as it dries, you'll be able to go back to it. So usually what I like to do on this piece is I like to start from the back and just line up this right here, so this looks nice in conjunction with this piece. And everything else, once you line up this piece right here, everything else should fall into place where it should go. It's gonna go right around the gas pedal, don't have to take it off. So this is the tricky part right here. So you just kind of want to put your finger down into here, and then you want to pay attention to right here. This is where you want to go. So we're gonna lift this up and we're just gonna slide this over like that. And you're gonna use a little bit of pressure from your fingers. It is a little bit of a difficult part to get the squeegee into. So like I said, you just basically want to get this to where it needs to go, and then just like that other piece, we'll kind of come back with the heat gun and with the microfiber towel, because the problem is right here you have a pool of water, so no matter what you do, the water's just going to go back up underneath, so we have to extract that water for it to actually stay down. So we're going to go ahead and leave this piece just like that, and we're going to come back to that. So now that we've pretty much got this side complete, what you want to go ahead and do, we're going to start installing the little foot pegs. So we're going to go ahead, you want to be careful, you don't want to put too much pressure, but you just want to kind of go over all this, and you're going to kind of mop up some of the water, allowing all these edges to dry. The second reason is also these are very small pieces, so if you do wet these, it's going to be very hard to actually swipe. So I do recommend installing these smaller pieces completely dry. So we're just going to go ahead and dry up all this stuff. Like I said, be super careful. You don't want to put too much pressure. You can just kind of dab, and you can see that it's sucking up all the water in there, and that's going to allow this to fully dry and come back with a heat source for the final installation of it, or the final touches of it, to make sure that it's all down. Okay, so once this is all dry, we can kind of come back over to our kit over here, and we're just going to go one by one. Take your time. Now this is designed to fit right on the edge right there. Do your best to kind of line up the graphic. And again, this is dry, I didn't wet this. So you want to start right here, right at the front, and now you kind of have a hinge where you can look and make it straight. And then once you feel comfortable that that's straight, just go ahead with your finger and lock it down. Now we're going to do that, we're going to repeat that for the rest of these. Once you get all the small pieces on and you make sure that they're locked in, you can start to move your way towards the pieces that go onto the back of the cart. That first piece right there just goes right around the handle. Then you're going to spin it around drop that piece in. Then you can continue adding the pieces that go onto the other side of the cart. Now all we have left are the stanchion pieces, the steering wheel, and the fork. So this kit is designed for a taxi garage upgraded fork, so unfortunately if you do have a stock fork, those pieces won't work for you. Another thing to note is you can also install the stanchion pieces dry. You can use a little bit of heat from the heat gun when installing the graphic on the drift bar. Okay, so now that once we have the whole entire kit actually physically installed on the cart, the only thing that's not included in the kit is a heat gun. You will need one of those. So we're gonna go ahead and probably put it on like a medium setting here. Right now this is at 7. We'll put that to 5, depending on whether or not your heat gun has a setting or not. So you're gonna go ahead and just kind of go through the whole cart, and you're gonna see some of these edges here that are still up. So this is where it's really important to have your microfiber towel. You want your towel to be slightly damp. That way it doesn't stick when you go to heat it, that it has a little bit of slide to it. So you're just gonna go ahead, keep a decent distance, keep the heat gun constantly moving. Don't sit in one spot because you can melt the film if it's lifted up from the cart. So you're just gonna go ahead, a lot of patience, but once it's all down, it looks great. So you're just gonna go around all these edges. And these little parts, sometimes what you wanna do is actually physically lift them up and backwards like that, and just heat a little bit of the area where it was to just get that condensation out from underneath it. Basically, once it's dry, you're just gonna take your finger and just follow this edge right here, and you'll feel it start to tack because the water's not underneath it anymore and it's allowing it to stick. So once you have it there, you're gonna go ahead with your heat gun again, and you might have to go over some spots a couple of times. So that's why I said patience, just take your time. Make sure you do this when you're not in a rush to go out and ride with your friends or anything like that. Make sure you have, I would say, at least a couple hours dedicated to just going through this. And even once it's all dry, I would still recommend letting it sit overnight, or at least for a couple hours, maybe out in the sun, and just go through it and just go over it and make sure that all the edges are down. And you'll see them kind of pop back up. You hit them with heat again, maybe one more time, and then it'll lock in. So what we really want to focus here is these edges. Because this film is so thick, we want to just go through all these edges and make sure that they're locked down and locked in, so that way you don't catch an edge and accidentally peel the decal up. And if you do happen to see any water, this is a good time to maybe go ahead and just run through it. You see some of the water come out. It's just some of that excess water. Make sure you get all those bubbles in. This is just kind of the final step to this whole process. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this video so that way you can watch the whole thing.